This week, I have the pleasure of testing one of the most exotic and powerful e-bikes on the market, the almighty vintage Roadster.
But the best part is that I get to use this for a whole week. I haven't had this much responsibility since I babysat from my neighbors. And let's hope this goes better than that did. Don't stick a fork in the electrical socket.
Vintage is a brand that has been around since 2014 or so. Vintage separates themselves from the rest of the market by designing bikes that are luxurious, powerful, and quality. And all of that is wrapped into an aesthetic that has been inspired by classic motorcycles. So a bike like the Roadster is essentially a wet dream for motorcycle or motorsports enthusiasts that want to get into e-bikes. However, all of this awesomeness does come at a cost.
How much?
Yes, $7,000 is a lot of money to pay for an e-bike. But there are some products in life that aren't made to be consumed by the masses. It's for the individual that is rich enough to day drink and to not look trashy. But most importantly, this is for the customer that not only appreciates high performance, but also exquisite attention to detail and build quality. This is also one of the fastest street-legal e-bikes you can own, clocking a top speed of around 40 miles an hour. This is all achievable because of an optional extra called race mode. Race mode does cost you a little bit of extra coin, but trust me, it's worth it. That top speed is legal thanks to this little guy right here, which is the race mode key. What you do is insert this into the battery right here, screw it in, and it pushes a little button in there, and that's how you unlock all of the power that this bike has to give. And if you take it out, the bike will be limited to about 22 miles an hour with the thumb throttle.
The specs of the Roadster include a 72-volt 15-amp-hour battery, a 4,000-watt hub motor, hydraulic regen brakes, front and rear lights, fully adjustable front suspension, and 5-pedal assist modes.
And finally, you get this bike's incredible aesthetic. They did an amazing job with the styling of this bike, and I think, personally, it's one of the best looking e-bikes on the market. In fact, whenever I ride this bike, I kind of feel like I'm on a date with a chick that's a little out of my league. When you're in public, everybody's eyes are glued to this, and you're just kind of awkwardly standing there watching all the men taking a comfortably long stare at it. I also had the chance to speak with Andrew, the CEO of Vintage, and he explained the service that Vintage offers is very interesting. He said that they designed all these bikes to be backwards compatible, meaning that if you buy, say, a 2015 version of the Roadster, you're able to call up Vintage and request all the new upgrades. Now, of course, all that stuff isn't free, but it does save you having to spend another $7 grand on a new bike.
So how does the Vintage compare to my bike, the Super 73 RX? Well, as far as power goes, they're on completely different planets. I mean, the RX only has a top speed of 30 miles an hour on a full charge and puts out the same torque as a desk fan. But that being said, of course, this is half the price of the Vintage. It's also a lot lighter and has full suspension, so you can just do a lot more with it. I kind of see the comparison between these two as like comparing a Casio and a Rolex. A Casio will do the exact same job as the Rolex for significantly less money, but at the end of the day, you still use your phone to check the time anyway. Vintage took the Rolex approach when it came to building this bike. The motor, for instance, is silent. The RX sounds like a golf cart. And the upside to having a silent motor like this is that when you whisk through your gentrified neighborhood, you won't piss off any of the Karens. And it will also look great outside that new coffee shop that used to be a liquor store. So with my bad jokes aside, what I'm trying to say is that the Roadster manages to pull off a very similar level of quality to a motorcycle, which is saying a lot. It is the polar opposite to those steel-framed Chinese imports you see crowding the streets of Long Beach. Another great advantage the Roadster has over the RX is how long it takes to charge. You can top up the Roadster in as little as 3 to 4 hours, whereas the RX takes around 6 hours.
The first thing you'll notice when you ride this bike is that it is fast, like seriously fast. It may only have a top speed of 40 miles an hour, and compared to motorcycles, that's absolutely nothing. But for an e-bike, it's pretty impressive. The best part is that its power makes it not only able to keep up with traffic, but in times actually get ahead of it. See, look at that torquiness and acceleration. I take off ahead of the traffic. I find myself riding it more like a motorcycle than I would a regular e-bike. And of course, because of its torquiness, it's very capable when it comes to climbing hills, which is a big weakness for a lot of e-bikes. So what are some things I don't like about the Roadster? Well, the thing that I don't like about it the most is the seat. It is so firm. Like, I started test riding this bike on a Tuesday, rode around for an hour or so, and my ass was sore till Thursday. That's not fun, man. Reminded me of the Boy Scouts. Another drawback to this bike is the battery. It has no quick release option, so you have to charge this bike wherever you're able to sit it. And this also does loan itself to another problem with this bike, which is the weight. Vintage claims that this bike weighs 86 pounds, but I don't know, it feels a bit heavier than that. 86 pounds might be what the Roadster puts on its Tinder profile, but the reality might be a little different. Oh, look at that, a gathering of people that, yet again, I wasn't invited to. Oh, it's a classic car show. The vintage will look good in this environment for sure. Oh yeah, you gotta love a bit of old Americana. Like, look at that, flames. I wonder if that guy has his forearms tattooed with the same flames. That'll be cool. Do you guys wanna come have a little test ride? Yeah, that's the enthusiasm. Yeah.
Test ride.
Yeah. It's not that scary. It's just an electric
I'm not
bike.
worried about it at all.
And that's
man.
coffee, not alcohol.
He jumped really quick on it.
Yeah, this is coffee.
I know. This has a top speed of 40 mile an hour.
What?
And yeah, 40 mile an hour.
My mini bike goes 90. Dude, this is the coolest thing ever.
There you go. Get some confidence on it, huh?
And there you have it. If you have enough cash to afford a seat in Congress, you can easily look past this bike's bulging price tag, which will be a great thing because the Roadster is a fast, quality, great handling bike with looks that make you feel like a handsome, interesting man in your own cologne commercial. And this footage you're looking at isn't even slowed down. The universe just takes its time to admire how good you look. Vintage's goal is to create bikes that blur the line between e-bike and motorcycle, and the Roadster is proof of that concept. Keep in mind that this is only a Class 2 e-bike, yet it manages to be in a class of its own. I really like what Vintage has done here, and once I sell enough healing crystals to bored middle-class women, I'll probably own my own one day.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed my test ride of the Roadster. Check out the website, social media below. Let them know that Hammy sent you. And yeah, see you all next time.